What's up, y'all? It's your boy Who's 74, and we finally here with the One Piece chapter 1171 review. Um, shit, man, I wanted to do this motherfucker Friday. Today is Monday, but I've been, you feel me, adjusting to my new split shift schedule. I don't work mornings anymore, and I've been getting a lot of overtime in while the overtime is available. So, 'cause I work security, so you got to get it while it's hot before they fill in them shifts. But we here with it today. We're gonna review this chapter. I do know based on the spoilers, because I haven't even had time to get deep into my spoilers, but I'm aware of the fact that we are done with the flashback. Okay, so this chapter we're gonna be done with the flashback, we're going back into present time. As much as I wanted to see Loki leave and get kidnapped and get brought back by Shanks, we're not gonna see that right now. Cause that might be a later flashback, but that's not gonna be part of this flashback. Um, But I have been eager to get back to Elbaf to see what's going on. I fucking want to see Loki's Devil Fruit transformation. You feel me? Without the silhouette and the shadows. You feel me? So let's see what this man could do. Hopefully we could get some Loki action. You feel me, on bro? Something, a named attack or something. But y'all already know how it go. Sit back, relax, flame up, and review with me. If you don't have a blunt to smoke on your own, feel free to tap mine as I put it to the screen. Today we're gonna be using my new plasma lighter. Yeah, yeah. You see that motherfucker and blue, my favorite color? Shout out to my coworker that got me this. Bitch. All right. So, the name of this chapter is Ragnar on Phonem. So we got a cover spread starting off. I don't give a fuck about these cover spreads, but we gonna go over it with y'all. I'm gonna let y'all see this motherfucker. They wanted to see Zoro with a fucking cat on his head with cat ears. Let's see what it says. Reader request Zolo being given a cat ear headband by a cat by Aura Nikoko. Fuck you, Aura Nikoko. I don't care about this shit. Had to be a female with that last name Nikoko. Y'all happy? I just want to get back to a fucking story, a cover story. Wasting time. Y'all sending in all the requests. The motherfuckers be sending in these dumbass requests. Can we get a request of a clash? Like hypothetically, I'm just saying. Can we? Maybe. I would even be okay with seeing some shipping going on. Damn, let's get a motherfucking fan request of Luffy, of Boa Hancock feeding Luffy grapes or some shit. Like, damn, y'all be doing all this dumbass, pointless ass weird shit. Oh, I want to see a cat giving Zoro cat headband ears. Or I want to see a cat stealing a book from a bookstore. I'm just saying. Fuck is wrong with y'all and cats? Oh, I want to see a bunch of baby fucking straw hats at a bar getting served milk by an adult Jimby. Okay, anyway, so picking up where we left off, we get with back in the present. We see Gabon bandaged up saying, I had a terrible vision plain as day. of Harold venturing from the castle and laying waste to the world until it was nothing but ruins. It's hard to imagine the way it's hard to imagine with the way his wounds healed themselves, that they were actually a means to stop him. So this is not the present. This is still the flashback after Harold is gone already. So Scopper confirms he did have a vision, as plain as day with his observation hockey, of Harold leaving Elbath and laying waste to the fucking world with his army. And then Scopper confirms that even though Harold was healing during the fight, every wound they dealt to him with that Conqueror's Honky mattered. It wore him down. He couldn't just continue to regenerate. So we got Shanks, Gabon, the guards, and Yarul all leaving the throne room. I don't see Loki. And we got Shanks saying, does the treasure of Elbath really have such power? Jarul? And Jarul says, not that I've heard, but it chills my spine to think what might have happened had Loki not been there. And we see Shanks having a flashback of him talking to Harold, and it's like I think one of them saying, once I am a knight of God, dawn will come to Elbath. So that's Harold telling Shanks, once I become a knight, dawn will come to Elbath. You dumb bitch, you thought it would. And then we see another flashback of Saint Figurlin with a smile on his face saying, speak your desires, and whatever it is, you shall have it. He said, you've been so deprived, my poor son. So Shanks just having a flashback of conversations he had with Harold and his own dad. Hmm. And then Shanks clutches his arm, saying, those miserable peons, peon ass nigga, those miserable peons, he said, those old vanilla wafer ass bitches on phone them, no old vanilla wafer ass bitches forget what happened in the lower world. He said those miserable peons are not people. Forget what happened in the lower world. Oh, that's not what Shank's saying. That's what his dad's saying about us. That's what his dad's saying about us, bro. I know y'all probably noticing I look completely different. That's because Nappy Boy when they got cleaned up nicely. I know. Fuck is you talking about, bitch? Watch me. Fuck is you talking about? Watch me. Gotta get y'all something good to watch. Watch me. Fuck is you talking about? So Shanks clutches his arm. I guess his tattoo starts to hurt. Gabon comforts him like, "Hey Shanks, no, stop." No, Shanks was trying to rip his fucking arm off or some shit. He says, "That's your bad habit again. Don't you dare regret your birth." Shanks says, "But why did Harold have to die? He was too pure-hearted to deserve that. If only I'd." Shanks, and then Gabon says, "It's not your fault and you know it." So Shanks was having a moment of regret, thinking, "Shorty, if I didn't bail out on my motherfucking promotion, this never would have happened to Harold." You feel me? So he trying to feel responsible, and Gabon like, "Don't." You feel me? But Shanks hate the celestial dragon so much, he also regrets the fact that he's even born a son to one. And Gabon is like telling him like, "Fo, don't regret none of that shit, fo. It ain't your burden to carry. It ain't your fault." Gabon then tells Shanks, "You still have a role to play, Shanks. I guarantee it. Everyone's life has meaning, but you have to keep a level head." So now we cutting back over to Loki. Loki is still in the room with his dead dad. So it looks like though Harold's body crumbled, his lower body is still there, which is why I'm going. Let's look at this panel right here on phone and I'm gonna clip this and put this on YouTube, shorty. I'm going with the theory right now. Harold, the man marked by flames. Yeah, we seen his body crumble in the last chapter when he got hit with the hammer and the lightning. But we also seen rocks when he was Domi Reversi get cut up and holes punched into his body. Motherfucking Garp and Rogers chopped and punched holes through that man. And when it was over with, though, he was on the ground with the curse gone, but whole, no cuts, no severed limbs, no holes in his body. Harold right here, they're only showing us the lower body, and the upper body is covered in flames. We don't see it. Harold's the man marked by flames. Watch, he ain't dead on phone now. Until I see something else where they show me more of his body, and if that's all they gonna give us for his remains, he's the man marked by flame. I'm calling it. Look, even scrolling down, they got something over him. They got Loki's cape over him. Yeah, he not dead. He's severely scarred, but he's not dead. Man marked by flames on phono. So Loki says this is what he gets for living for loving his country. That's what he's asking himself. Like, is this what he got? Is this like what became of my dad for loving his country? He said it's a cruel joke. He says that was an exceedingly rare ancient giant warrior. Okay, so we cut over to marriage wise now. After we see Loki grieving, feeling like love for his country is a joke now. Love for your country is not a joke, Loki. You just gotta understand your dad was dumb as hell the whole step of the way. Love for his country caused him to make all the dumb decisions. But for the love of his country, he could have also made the right decisions. Joining up with Rocks could have also been the love of his country. You feel? For the love of his country. Deciding not to join up with Rocks, but also not trying to kiss the government ass and just forming your own relationships the way you were at first. It's love for your country. Harold suffered because he chose the easy bitch way out. Let me kiss the ass of the oppressor and maybe my country can have a better time. I'm gonna sacrifice myself, you feel me, to the oppressor for my country. That was Harold's fault right there. It wasn't love for his country. So we cut to marriage you and we see somebody saying that was an exceedingly rare ancient giant, given even greater powers and an immortal body. And an immortal body. That was nothing short of a monster. And thou sayest it was killed, this emu going off. By whom was it an ale bath? And Agora saying, we shall have it investigated. Harold's abyss in Elbath remains intact. Emu says, enough. It will be only the death of one more night, of more nights. Performing the covenant inflicts a cost upon Mu as well. That motherfucker gassed. Hit blunt. So Emu gas. So we do get confirmation that that covenant inflicts a type of toll on Emu. Emu can't just dish them bitches out like that, and I'm assuming that's why it's only 13 of them motherfuckers that got it. Maybe 13 is the max that he could push out and still be able to maintain whatever the fuck he got to maintain and got going on. You feel me? Yeah, they tied to him in some way. Okay, so that's a lore drop right there. Noted. So we see the Gorosei still talking. Were they listening as Emu says Harold chose to debase himself before humankind to connect his country to other lands and people. This made him a heretic. His are a tribe of warriors whose every drop of blood calls out for battle. Carelessly incorporating them into the government will lead to internal collapse. An ancient giant king of Elbaf who agrees to the covenant is a gift to Mu, the likes of which shall not be seen again. He was a king exactly, because he a dumbass. He was a king that Elbaf never should have had. And see what came of it? History does not lie. Our kind are incompatible. Never forget that Elbaf is D. So the entire Elbaf is D technically. Every giant from Elbaf is a fucking D. Which we should have known from them all the books they got and the fucking mural that they got. You feel me? Duh, they was in alliance with them at minimum. But being in alliance with them don't mean they were actually D, so but they were actually D's. So we see Loki now saying, you know what? The spoilers made it seem like the flashback was fucking over, but we spending half the chapter still in the flashback. Like they made it seem like, you feel me? Okay, back to the new shit. No, this gonna be some shit where we gonna get back to the present at the very end. So we see Loki saying, I'm going out to sea, Gramps. I'll take all the surviving guards with me. And I see so he's talking to Yarua, because Yarua responds, and what of Harold's wishes? And he has a flashback of Harold saying, tell the people of Elbaf exactly what happened here. Loki says, you know I can't tell them. Listen closely. Don't speak a word of what happened here to anyone. And that's what Loki is telling all the guards that's remaining alive. Shanks, Gaban, and Jarul. And then Yarua says, do you understand who they'll blame for it? Loki says, how is that any different than usual? Do you really see a future where I become king and carry my old man's ideals? And then he said, but there are other ways I can live up to him. I'll take the powers I have and I'll go avenge my dad and his soldiers. And then Ja Rule says, now you're talking nonsense, Loki. The world government is a colossal organization. It's a task beyond anything you can imagine. And we see Shanks and Caban just sitting there looking. And then we see some text bubbles that says a disaster, terrible misfortune, or Rust Castle has been attacked, Your Majesty. So I guess that's, everybody finding out what happened and rushing to the castle to see. So we cutting back to the underworld now. So the flashback is over. Loki's wrapping up the narration, saying, "So I sailed right off the island." He says, "I'm sure that by the time you return home, Harujin, I've been fully transformed into Loki, the Father Slayer, in the public's eye. I certainly did enough to convince them I was capable of it. However," he says, "However, I'm not so far gone that I celebrate killing my own dad. I just didn't want everything he did to be undone because of what happened in the end. Or do you still think I should have told the country everything? Yeah, bitch ass nigga. And Harujan just sitting there with this ass look on his face. Look at him. Look at him sitting there with that yam on his nose. He's sitting there with this ass look on his face. You feel me? And then Gabon says it's all true, Harujan. And Luffy sitting there looking. And then Luffy says, "Do you get it now? I didn't want to have to dredge this all back up." Haruja says, "I now understand why Chief Jarua urged for your clemency and continued to protect you. In short, Father chose death over manipulation of the world government. And ever since then, the government has been Elbaf's enemy. How did they manipulate him like that?" Somebody says, "As a matter of fact, these newly arrived holy knights of God played a pivotal role in Harold's story." That's what Gabon says. But Loki still doesn't know exactly what happened to Harold in the Holy Land. Gabon says, "If you need more details, I can explain." So what the fuck happened to Harold in the Holy Land? Now I'm curious because we not gonna get that because Harujan says that won't be necessary for now, Mr. Ya. He says, they call him your son. He says, "I don't need a reason to protect my homeland." And then he says, "If we see eye to eye about everything, Loki, it's love for our father. It's love for our father. Allow me to apologize for that, if nothing else. Now fight with me for Elbaf's sake," as he's taking the shackles off of the final shackle off Loki. Luffy cheers, "Yay, way to go, Loki. Now you can fight." And then we see something crash down, like off in the distance, but in the area where they are at in the underworld. And it ended up being one of those Killingham, Saint Killingham monsters. The motherfucking giant skeleton, as y'all see. So the thing gets up and starts screaming. That thing is fucking huge compared, like even compared to Loki, that thing is giant. And then somebody says, "What is it? What's that raging above up there?" "There's a whole bunch of them." That's what Chopper said. Chopper's like, "It's a whole bunch of them. You just down there listening to the story, tending to the wounds, but ain't said that yet. Chopper been down there the whole time, and just now letting motherfuckers know what the situation is really looking like up there." So Haruji says, "Where did it come from? Is that a Draugr? Those aren't real." And then Loki says, "Sounds like the perfect warm up." He says, "You go up ahead, I can fly up." And Luffy says, "What is that thing?" So we got the giant pirate warriors, Haruji and his crew. They getting on their ship and they taking a lift back up to the top. And Loki told them go on ahead because he could fly. He said he gonna catch up. And then as they're leaving, somebody says, "Hey Loki, we used to think you were a real bastard who killed his own father." And they say sorry about that. Harujin says, but only for this one thing. All of your many other crimes still count. And then Loki says, just shut up and go. No one asked you to say all of this. And then Loki says, rah, this is amazing. I can move again. I'm free. That motherfucker been locked down for 6 years, oh bro. He happy as hell. So we see Chopper looking shocked, Gabon looking prepared for whatever. Gabon says, hey, ship doctor, I appreciate your help here, but I'm concerned about my son. And then Chopper says, oh, right, sure. So now we see Sanji carrying Gabon and Gopper saying, nice and gentle, Sanji. Sanji says, yeah, I know we aren't going to stay here. I know you weren't going to stay here. But whatever, because that's beside the point. One Sanji with Zoro already on their way up to the fight. I'm confused. Sanji and Zoro went up already at the beginning of Loki telling the flashback. But anyway, we see Loki saying, "What are you doing?" Loki saying, "What are you doing up here?" Luffy says, "Hey, hey, hey, I want to see how you fight." And then Loki says, "All right then." Loki says, "All right then." He grabs his hammer, jump up, and says, "Show off your power, Ragnar." And he swings his hammer at the motherfucking giant monster, and we get a named attack, Nimbleheim. Oh, Nimbleheim is the icy realm of Norse mythology, right? I'm assuming it is because the attack when Loki hits this thing, it freezes it. So that's a second power of Ragnar, lightning and ice. I wonder if Ragnar can just control all the elements, or if Ragnar somehow has like some type of specific power tied to all realms connected to, you feel me, the tree of to Yggdrasil. So the motherfucker might have ice powers. I mean, ice powers, fire powers. You feel me? You know, but he freezes that thing in one shot, boom, and then we get the end of the chapter to be continued. I knew it was gonna end like that. So that was officially the longest flashback in like One Piece. You feel me? It was definitely a good flashback. It was worth it because we were not expecting to get God's Valley. Like the way Oda just gave us God's Valley in the middle of what we thought was gonna be a simple flashback about Harold's death. Beautiful. You surprised the fuck out of us. You feel me? It was worth it. Not only did we get the God's Valley, we got the Rocks back, the Father reveal. You feel me? On phone them Blackbeard. You feel me? We got the Galley Rod. You feel man? It was this flashback was just filled with so much fruit, with so much seed. You feel me? That in 2026, throughout these chapters, we finna see so much of this fruit sprout from these seeds. You feel me? These fruit grow from these seeds. I mean, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I don't got much to talk about. Um, so shit. I don't see anything about a break next week, but this 2025, so I mean, this 2026 now. I don't know what they plans for consecutive drops gonna be because you know they're not doing that. I think the manga going just as seasonal as the anime is, but we gonna get this uploaded. I'm gonna go watch some theory videos from other people's reviews and get in my head and see if I can form another good theory myself that I can get y'all on my next video. Cause you gotta remember, I've been the first one saying that Harold is the man marked by flames, and I still think that this chapter just confirmed it even more. What else did I say? I also was the first one saying how Rox was gonna die, that he was gonna. I was the first one that said that because I watch these guys, I watch all of them. You feel me? All the guys, the Tekkens, the I can't pronounce a lot of these guys' names, but the Arthur, the Library of Art, O'Hara, all I watch all of them. I was dead as the first after I do my reviews, I watch theirs, and I was the first one to mention anything about how Garp and Rogers would successfully free Rocks from the Domi Reversi, but he was gonna be on his last breath, his last leg. I said it was gonna be a sad moment where he was just feeling like hopeful for the future because he was gonna still be alive, and then Garland was gonna get up and get his get back and slam him out. I said that. That's exactly what I said was gonna happen, and that's what happened in that same way. So yeah, I got them bitches with these reviews, but I do watch other people's stuff too at the same time because I don't know how some of y'all help me get some of the theories I get, cause y'all be hitting that shit, but y'all don't actually grab what y'all be throwing in the air and run with it the same way. A lot of these guys rather make up. They rather they be having dead ass a tree with fruit, and they be having the fruit because they grew the fruit, they grew the tree with the theories, and they be dropping so much stuff. They be having fruit for like these powerful ass, good ass theories that make sense. But instead of going that, they rather go with the like the Library of O'Hara guy. He rather go with the oh, I want to see what if the Straw Hats end up getting the abyss powers, shit like that. You feel me? When they be having the fruits for real life good theories, they rather go with the off the top shit, even for One Piece. But yeah, shorty. I be fucking it up with these theories. I just really need to start dropping theory videos instead of throwing my theories in my review videos all the time. But yeah, on phone now. I'm gonna start TikToking my theories on, bro. That's what we finna start doing. But this Who's Who 74 shorty, we signing out and I'll see y'all next time.